All right, all right. See if anybody wants to join me real quick, and then I'll learn you some real estate knowledge tonight on the Wholesaling Houses Nonstop After Dark show. So I'm going to wait for a second to see if anybody wants to come on here. Come on. All right. I'm going to get started here. What's up? What's up? You have to give StreamYard your permission for me to show you on the screen, so just FYI. But yeah, it looks like we got one person that's going to learn how to do comps, maybe two more people. All right, this is important, guys. I mean, we need to have like 100 people on here. This is like the most important part of our whole business is running comps. You guys got to learn this stuff. All right, all right. Well, I'll get started here with the few people I have here ready to learn. It's pretty easy. I'm just going to give you like examples of a couple deals I already closed and show you how we typically comp them really quick. It usually only takes a couple minutes, and it lets us get an offer to the seller in a really short amount of time, which is important when you're wholesaling. So basically what we do is we start off, we just enter the address into PropStream. So I'll show you an example of one we closed here. And don't get excited and try to skip trace the owner and see if they still have it, because I already closed it, these guys. I know y'all like to get sneaky. These are already closed deals, just so you know. But basically, we just pull it up here on our PropStream. Well, my version of PropStream is called REI Automator, but it's the same thing as PropStream. And basically right here, you'll have details, analysis. It'll tell you the average comps right here. I don't pay attention much to that, but I'll open up the details. And basically, you want to go to, after you open up details, go to comparable and nearby listings, right? And this, I believe, if I remember correctly, was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and the square footage was about right, about 1,100, maybe close to 12. So what we need to do is we need to find comparable properties that sold similar to this property right here. So this is a brick home, so we want to try and compare like brick homes if we can with this brick home. And you know, we don't want to compare like houses built in 2010 to a house built in 1970, which is when this home was built. We want to stay pretty close to these parameters as we can. And the most important parameter, I think, in my opinion, is the square footage, because a lot of times you can actually convert like smaller 2-bedroom houses to 3-bedroom houses if they have the square footage there. So I don't pay attention as much to the bedroom and bath count as I do the square footage. The square footage is probably one of the biggest determining factors I compare on. But basically, you scroll down here, and this shows you basically everything. This is why I love PropStream for comps. It shows you the bedrooms, bathrooms. It'll show you the year built, and it has the distance. I actually like to move this down. See how I can drag this because how close your comparable property is to the one you're trying to give an offer to is super important information. So I like to drag this across, and that way I can sort it, right? So now if I pull all this all the way over here, the distance, so I can see these properties are like the closest distance to my subject property here on Yuma, right? So this first one here, it's on Johnson Town Road, which is right here. If you zoom in this map, you'll see it's number 1, which is pretty close to Yuma Way. It looks like it's practically across the street. So that's a comp we definitely want to pay attention to. And see, that one sold for 134, and it was 1,000 square feet. And see, this is why I like these little columns here. We can compare directly. So this one's got 1 bedroom like ours does. Looks like it's a little bit less square footage than ours, but pretty close. And we can actually pull up a picture if we want to. So if we click details, all right. So in these details, we'll see that it's a brick house like ours. It's also like a ranch style like ours. Ours is just like 1 story. So this is the closest property to ours. And it looks like it's all the way updated just about. So this would be a pretty good comp to use for ARV. Just looking through these pictures and looking at the size of the property and what type of property it is. So if I was comping, I would go ahead and write this one down, right? I would write what this one sold for, which was, I believe, 134. But yeah, we can look at all the details here if we want to see property details, and we can find all kinds of info like the assessed value. The sale date was May, and then it sold again in September 2020 for 134. So, and it was by financing, so it wasn't a cash transaction, right? So yeah, that would be like our first comp, and then we got another one that sold for 165. And that's our next closest one. However, it's got 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and it looks a little bit bigger than ours. So I would definitely be concerned with that, but I would still want to take a look at it, right? So that's what I'll do. I'll get it opened up, and we'll see how it compares. So this looks pretty much nothing like our subject property on Yuma Way. This is, first of all, looks like it's siding or something like that. I think that's siding. I can't see the picture, but I mean, it is updated somewhat, but they got 165 out of this. Looks like they got a good sized garage. It's built as a 4.2 and ours is a 3.1, but it's a little bit bigger than ours. So I would keep that in mind as a comp, but I wouldn't use this as proof showing that ours could sell for 165 as well. I would just kind of keep it in mind as a comp to where, like, you know, the market bears a sale of that amount, but not, that doesn't mean ours is going to sell for that. But yeah, if we go down, we see one on Sunkissed Way, and that's for like 156. and that's a little bit smaller. So this would actually be a better comp to use if we pull this one up. We can see some details on that one. Yeah, so this looks a lot closer to our property. It looks like a similar style. Looks like it's brick, and it's the ranch style. Doesn't look all that updated by the pictures. So this is a comp I would probably show a cash buyer because it looks pretty similar. And this one sold for, I think it said 155. Or 156. So I would write that down. And that's a little bit less than that other one that sold for 165 that was slightly bigger, which makes sense. So based on the information I have, I think it's pretty safe to say that ours could go anywhere between 140 and 155. And if we just kind of do a quick glance through here, we can kind of see, the ones 1,000 square feet or so are selling for about the same. They're selling in like the 150s, and every now and then you'll get a 160 here and there. So yeah, I'd say 155 would be like a pretty conservative ARV for that particular property, based on what I've seen. But yeah, that's pretty much how you would go into more detail on your ARV and figuring out what you could sell a property for. I'll do another one real quick that we got. This one was on Samuel Street. It's a little bit tougher to comp. But we actually made a decent assignment fee on this one, so we must have done our job right. All right, so this one on Samuel Street, again, we just can do a quick analysis here. 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It's 667 square feet, built in 1949. So we're going to be looking for comparable properties that have these similar characteristics here when we do a assessment. We can scroll through here to see if there's any other information that will be helpful to us. Looks like it sold in 2013 for 62 grand cash. Sometimes that's a good idea to check that out before you make an offer to the seller, kind of get an idea of what they paid for it, so you know kind of where you need to be at when you make an offer. And if we click these comparables, and see, the good thing about PropStream is you get MLS access and you get the public record access as well. So you can compare with both comps. So I'm going to click the both, right? So I could click MLS or I could click public record, but I'm going to click both. And so if we go through here, and like last time, I'm going to move my distance over to closer. That way I can see my distance next to like the really important things that I look at, like square footage and bedroom, bathroom count, that kind of thing. And you can also see the days on market, which is super helpful. So you know if it's sold for like a really low days on market, they may have left money on the table. And then as well, if they have a high days on market like 109, you know that something must have been wrong with that property, or they were trying to get too much out of it. And this also like is good for if you're just analyzing a neighborhood. You can see the average days on market over here is 75 days, which isn't too bad. If it's said like 100 or 120, then we know it's a little bit slower moving market. So we got to be super conservative on our ARV and when we're running comps. So But anyways, this one's only 667 square feet. And so for one like this, I would probably just sort it instead of by the distance. I would probably sort it by like the square footage. That way I'm looking at the smallest houses in the area. And it looks like there's some really small properties in the 600 square foot range that have sold in the 150s or so. See, this one sold for 150. This one sold for 235. But it was a 3-2. I'm not sure how they fit a 3-2 in 660 square feet, but apparently they did. This one sold for 180. So it looks like these smaller houses are going anywhere between 150 and 180. So that's probably our ballpark ARV for it. And again, we can look at these pictures to kind of see what these houses look like, and that's going to be super helpful when figuring out what the after repair value will actually be. Yeah, so this one looks completely redone. Yeah, this one sold for 180. So you'll want to definitely walk inside this one's got a garage too, and ours doesn't. So we would not be able to sell ours for as much as this one because this one has the garage feature. Another thing you want to take into account when you're comparing a property. So yeah, we've got that one, and whoops. We've got one on Fisher. That one sold for 150. Now that's closer to what our house kind of looks like, in a similar style to it. So just kind of going through this, it looks pretty close to our subject property. So I'd say our ARV is probably around that, probably around 150, or it could probably sell for higher, maybe 160. I'll have to look at the last sale date to kind of figure out if the market's been hotter since it last sold or not. Okay, it sold in August 2020, and the market is hotter now, so you could probably get more than this 150 number. So if you told buyers like 160 is the ARV, that would be pretty realistic. But yeah, that's how I do comps on PropStream, and it's pretty simple. Okay, someone asked, what's the website? Yeah, great question. I'm going to post the website for you. I just had it in the comments, I thought. Yeah, this is the website right here if you want to check it out. And this link, actually, it'll give you a discount code, and you can use my discount code that I made just for you all, and you can start running comps like I do. Another way you can do it is Zillow. If you can't afford, $100 a month or however much PropStream is, Zillow is another way to do it. This is the way I used to do it, guys. This is as straightforward as it gets right here. I like the PropStream because I can see the MLS comps, and I can't really see them as well on Zillow. All right, so it gives you a Zestimate. It says like 164, and I told you the ARV would probably be around 160. So the Zestimate's actually pretty close on this one. but we can kind of see what's for sale around here. A lot of stuff in the twos. And we can even, what you really want to do is you want to get to that sold thing right there. Oh, whoops. My Zillow's going crazy on me. There we go. Sold. So we're on Samuel Street, and so the thing about doing comps on Zillow is now you got to deal with all these yellow dots all over the place, which I'm not a huge fan of. But you can click this More tab right here, and then you can do sold in the last. I like to do 6 months because that's going to give us probably the most accurate data and the most recent sales. If you're in like a more of like a cold market and you don't have a lot of comps to go off of in general, you can expand it to like 12 months. And if you're like in the middle of nowhere, maybe 24 months. But Louisville is like a pretty hot market, so 6 months will do just fine. But yeah, we do that. And we can even change the square footage up if we want to. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click done. And now we got less dots to mess with. So we see this one sold for 192. It was almost 1,000 square feet. This one sold for 2,000, or this one sold for 195. It was 2,000 square feet. So most of these sales here are higher than 600 square feet, which is our property size. But if we look over here, we see one that sold for 160. And it's about the same size as ours. So this would actually be like a pretty good comp to use. And you don't have to have 3 comps exactly for every single property that you come across, but you do want to at least have one really, really good one that's really, really close to what your house looks like, minimum, right? So yeah, we see that one sold for 160. But that's how you do it on Zillow, and I show you how to do it on PropStream. And I hope that helped you guys. And if it did, let me know in the comments. And if it didn't, let me know in the comments too, so I can improve. And if you have questions, I'll answer your questions about it too. I have no problem doing that. Shed light on the people. Yeah. I hope I shed plenty of light on how to do the comps. That's what I'm all about. Yeah, no problem. Anytime. I hope this was helpful. And for those of you that didn't get to watch it live, make sure you watch the replay because I go in detail on how you do it. And when I'm constantly making offers for leads that come in, I do it pretty quickly. I went a little bit slower for you guys so you can kind of understand the process a little better. But you can see the big difference between Zillow, where you got all these dots all over the place. And then if you switch over to PropStream, you've got like a nice spreadsheet view, right? And you can see exactly the square footage and the distance and the sales prices right there. And it just makes it so much more simpler, guys. It really does. And if you want, you can even like sort it by highest sale to lowest sale. Sometimes, like when I'm trying to figure out how much I'm going to sell a deal I have, I'll maybe sort it highest to lowest and say, all right, what's the most I could possibly get out of this thing? And say, all right, well, the highest thing sold for 245 over here. What would I have to do to this property to make it worth 245, or something like that. But yeah, PropStream is super helpful for comping properties. But anyways, guys, I was glad to join you all, and hopefully this helped, and I'll catch y'all next time.